Hello! We are in R5 Reloading to talk about slide mechanics. In case you don't know what R5 Reloading is, before I get into things, it's just what I'm using to test things. It's a modded version of Apex, and you can check the description for more information. So chances are there is going to be some stuff in this video that you do already know about. But hopefully, if I've done my job well, you'll also learn something new. So let's start with something that I think a lot of people probably don't know. It's that if you're going fast enough, actually over your regular sprint velocity, so like this, if you don't have a weapon out, then you will be forced to slide if you're already sliding. So if I go down this hill and I just tap my slide button, you can see that I'm forced into the slide for longer than, I held it. So I can tap it. Oop, messed that one up. See, I tap it, and then I'm forced to slide for a little bit longer. If we go on flat ground, I won't be able to keep my speed as well, so I won't be forced to slide as long. You can see there, it was only a much shorter time that I'm forced to slide. And it's also the same thing if you slide into the air. So here, I slide into the air, I'm still going too fast, so it still forces me into a crouch position. And same thing with Superglide. It still forces me into a crouch position because I'm still going too quickly. You can actually slow down in the air though, and that'll let you land in a standing position. So let's talk about the slide cooldown. If you slide too quickly after a previous slide, you won't be able to get any speed from that sliding. Alright. So what is this timer? Well, I and many of you probably initially thought that it had to do with when you ended your first slide and started the next one. There's a certain time in between that would determine whether or not you were able to slide. But that's actually not true. Somebody in Mokey's Discord actually pointing out to me that it is when you start the slide that matters, not when you end the slide. So if we look here, we have a hill. If we slide down this hill, we can say 1, 2 seconds, and then we can immediately slide again without penalty. Superglides also operate by the same slide cooldown. So here, I land in a slide here, which used up my slide cooldown, and then I had to wait 2 seconds before I was able to superglide here. And since I didn't wait that 2 seconds, I wasn't able to superglide. If we instead use the first trick we learned, and slow down so we can avoid the slide here, then we can do another superglide here. No problem. Another thing we can do with the slide cooldown is we can stall for the slide cooldown by sliding for slightly longer. So we can do a slide, wait, and then jump, and then we can do another slide a little bit sooner relative to the time that we ended the other slide. This also means that we can do a long slide into a wall bounce into a slide, and we won't get any dead slides this way if we extend the slide a little bit, like that. Alright, so now we're going to talk about Faide slides, otherwise known as quick slides, and also skip jumps. Mokey Sniper actually already did a video on this, and while it's a great video, the explanations in it are not quite correct, but they're still useful, so if you want to watch it, you can. I'll leave a link in the description. So let's just talk about a little bit about when we can slide. So we need to get up to a certain speed, and then we can slide. If we're at too low of a speed, then we can't slide. What is that speed? It's just above holstered walking speed. So this is holstered walking speed. I can't slide. I go slightly above that, and I can slide. So the classic Faide slide is you start in a crouch position, and then you release crouch and start sprinting forward at the same time, and then as soon as you finish standing up, you press crouch again, and that gives you the slide. So it should look something like this. So the cool thing about Faide slides is that when done correctly, they will get you up to speed slightly faster than just regular sprinting from a standstill. And this is because when you're in a crouch state, you accelerate faster. So that first little bit where you're crouched, you actually get a speed advantage. Alright, next up we have skip jumps. Skip jumps let you avoid a certain speed penalty that you get when you try and jump too soon out of a slide. So it turns out that the lower velocity you have, the faster you can jump out of the slide. And if you happen to have a weapon out, you can jump out of it even faster. It's a little bit weird, but that's how it works. So without a weapon out, it will look something like this. And with a weapon out, you can get it to look something like this. And just as like a word of warning, if you are traveling at higher speeds, like maximum swing speed, and you try and do a slide jump, and you feel like it should have worked, but it kind of looks like you dead slided, it could also be this, because you might be used to doing it at lower speeds, where you can jump a little bit sooner. Alright, one last thing I want to touch on is sliding from the air. So by that I mean jumping and sliding like that, or otherwise falling from a ledge. So what are the differences here? Well, one is you can jump immediately out of it without penalty. Like that. Another thing, there is no speed penalty if you already use your slide cooldown. You can see that there. And the last thing is you can enter it from much slower speeds. Like so. Alright, thanks for watching. You can subscribe if you want to. Next video will be on false stun cancel. So if everything goes to plan, we'll be able to do stuff like this with, like, not Horizon. Because abilities are lame.